Principal DPS Greater Faridabad. S.L. Jain, Principal Mahavir Senior Secondary School.
Director.
बोली सेकंड बेल अभी सुबह सब पे लाइव करो वो सेकंड
Secondary
ऐसा तो फास्ट पेन 8 का वो
So now
वो सेकंड पे अभी लाइव हो जस्ट
okay, sir.
और क्या?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thanks. I know that today this session is going to be very interesting. Before this session is between you and your lunch. And to make this really informative, I have excellent panel speakers here going to share a lot of insights on the topic, which is vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial education. Before I get to the panel, let me set the context, which is very important to understand in this current minutes. Between now and 2025, over 25 million young people are estimated to enter in Indian workforce, while only less than 5% between the age of 20 to 24 will obtain vocational skills through formal training. Rest, there is a huge vacuum. Let's understand that. We have more than 39 sector skill council to enable this, to make sure that all major industry segments are being trained and skillfully equipped for future workforce as well. Indian higher education, this particular sector is expected to be $144 billion by 2020. We are growing, this segment is growing by 18% CGR. High growth rate comparatively than any other space. India has a huge demographic dividend we talk about. Let's understand more than 65% of youth in the working age. We have a larger responsibility to face in, not just to provide skillful manpower in India, but also to support globally as well. Across the globe, we are having a very serious problem, which is aging. We need to supply the whole world with skillful, talented people to supply and take the demand to, so that the workforce settled across the globe, because people are going to be compared, not sitting with students of Noida to Noida or Gurgaon to Gurgaon. People are going to be compared with people studying in Sydney, New York, Canada, you name it, they're going to be compared. That integrating world we are currently in. Disruption is happening at every fraction of a second. There are new thinkers, evaluators coming in, and they're making huge impact in this space. We are in the world where technology is becoming an enabler for every single disruption which is happening in every single field. You talk about medical, banking, irrespective, there's a lot of disruption happening. This is the time we need to see how we can collaboratively take the learning which is in formal education in school as well as higher education to the next level. So we become very, very responsible today, not just only to the country, but all to the global level as well. And most of the people here will know about NSQF framework. We have a ministry for MSD, but in professional space, if I talk about, more than 15,000 ITIs are there in India, and we have more than 889 universities and more than 91 institutions of national importance. We have more than 15 professional councils which sets up and professional practices are being regulated in this area. Now we become much more responsible, as I said, how to run this whole mechanism to see the best possible thing which we provided. Already the panel spoke about how unexpected the job roles are going to change. industry has started working on new area called Industry 4.0. Believe it or not, by more than 9 million job force by 2020, they will be doing new job roles which they have not heard of. 9% is close to 600 million people we need to train in new areas. We have a larger responsibility to face it. With that tone set in, I have an august panel speakers to introduce this theme and take 2 minutes on each of this topic, elaborate and build upon their points. Then I will start my rapid fire questions. Yeah. Let me take the privilege to invite Ms. Sujit Khanna. She's the principal, DPS Greater Faridabad, to respond on these points.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, SRM, for this platform, and Mr. Moderator, for a wonderful introduction you have given to this very, very relevant issue. Connecting vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial education and making the school system right from school to university relevant for the children, the students who come into its fold. It's a huge challenge. With my area of experience being essentially the domain of the school, and recognizing that this is an area of very, very focused attention for all of us today, I'd like to talk about what I see, what I experience, and what I envision. Recognizing that all education is actually a preparation for life, and preparation for life is incomplete without having the skills which allow you to stand firmly on the ground as an asset to yourself, your community, and your country, both in personal and in commercial terms. It is important to go back to building the right attitude and skills from the early years onwards. We are talking of entrepreneurship and vocational education, and it is relevant to talk because not all children are same. Individual differences lie at the core of the entire education system. And if these differences are real, and the world outside is a diverse and a very dynamic one, then how can we have everybody prepare for the same kind of a life set and be cast in the same mold? Yet, at school, when we talk of children, preparing children to be vocationally rich, there is resistance by the parents, first of all, by the children themselves, because they've been told by their parents that you got to be this kind of a learner, and that's the right kind of learner to be. Sometimes there are barriers that school systems pose when teachers themselves do not progress with the times. At my school, DPS Greater Faridabad, interestingly, it is a NITI Aayog tinkering school as well in the first list. We are quite global, but very, very firmly rooted on the ground. And we understand that the world is changing, we got to change. We don't know how much time seriously we need to change systems of that will help us. But we do know we are running a school, and it is possible for us to create opportunities and areas where some of these things that we consider important, we can bring them alive and vibrant into the school system. And we are doing that. So all the critical faculties that you and I as educators, when we get together, we talk about, we are already giving them space in our school actively. I'll give you just one small example. Recently, we launched a gift plant enterprise. It was a middle school entrepreneurship activity. They conceived it, their social science teachers were the guides, and the students got together. to give it a framework. They went to Khurja, selected pots. They went to nurseries, looked at plants. They did a survey with the parents of the school to ask what sort of plants you would like to have in your home. What price would you be willing to pay? What sort of pots interest you? They collated all information and then began the canvassing at the PTMs. Please give us your order for a wedding, for a birthday, for a gift, anything. We will make a plant appear at your doorsteps on the given day, at given time, 11 o'clock or 6 a.m. All right? It'll carry a personalized message and the cost will be this. I watched them little whimsically at the first PTM, and by the end of the year, I was no longer whimsical. I mean, selling a pot at 250, they managed to collect over 1 lakh of rupees. Middle school. They learned to speak, they learned to convince, they learned to approach strangers, they learned to manage, record, everything. I mean, it was amazing how meticulously everything was done. Yesterday, my Tinker Lab students came to me, ma'am, we found a way how we can take care of the accumulation of garbage in drains. We have the answer. I said, brilliant. All right, tell me. They gave me an explanation using physics and this pressure and that pressure, and these sensors will be here, and then this notification will go, and the mouth of the drain will open like this. It'll give, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm an English language teacher, not a science one. I can't precisely describe it to you, but it seemed logical. They said, should we go ahead and do it? I said, yeah, go ahead. Ma'am, this is going to be commercially viable. I said, okay, we'll install it on the drains right outside our school. That's the first place. I'll start lobbying with the local authorities. And then they said, ma'am, we want to design a watch. And that watch will, the moment the watch senses that your blood pressure is rising, or there is a very active displacement in your space, it will send out a notification that perhaps you are not well. And this is the watch. You just need to press a little button and it will send a message to the local hospital, to the police station, etc., etc. That is the watch you wear, and in case you're in an accident, all that you need to do is try and press that little knob. So this is, and they said, ma'am, this is going to be commercially viable. I said, okay, do a 3D printing. And they went with it to the EdTech Summit and they won an award. What I'm trying to say is very, very simple. There are huge amounts of issues with our policies and our systems. There are a lot of things that deter us. But what can take us forward is our will to do things. So I am not waiting for the government and other agencies to say, all right, here we give you a school educational system and it allows you to be an entrepreneur. I say we can do it now, let's do it. And that's the spirit with which my school is running. Thank you for your patience.
I can completely understand the statements you There was a survey conducted in US to see that who's the top millionaire who does odd jobs. Do you know who came first? Any idea? The top one was a pig racer. Pig racer. So we should not shy away from the fact, whatever the student talent they have, how they want to mobilize, how they want to scale up, we should encourage and take it to the next level. With that thought, I would like to invite now Mr. S.L. Jain, Director of Mahavir Senior Secondary School, to share a few points. Then we'll start our rapid session with other panel speakers as well.
मित्रों, गोयनका जी ने और भट्टाचार्य जी ने बताया कि किस तरह से दिल में उतरा जाए और किस तरह से अपनी बात को प्रभावी तरीके से कहा जाए, तो मुझे पता नहीं मैं प्रभावी बनूंगा या दिल में उतर पाऊंगा या नहीं, लेकिन एक दो बातें जरूर कहना चाहता हूँ। और वो ये है कि मैंने पढ़ा था कि should I be a pig satisfied or a Socrates dissatisfied? The answer was that I would like to be a Socrates dissatisfied. अब हमारी जो लड़ाई है वो ये है कि हम अध्यात्म में जाएं या भौतिकता में जाएं। शुरू से बच्चे को 3 साल के बच्चे से वो डांस की क्लास में भेज देते हैं, एंटरप्रेन्योर में डाल देते हैं, वोकेशनल में डाल देते हैं, सब डाल देते हैं। जो सवाल पूछते हैं जवाब नहीं आता, क्योंकि हमारी जो चहुमुखी बहुमुखी प्रतिभा का विकास कैसे हो, तो विद्वान कैसे बने, कैसे अच्छी तरह से सोचे, कैसे समाज का उत्थान हो, कैसे घर परिवार बने, किस तरह से चरित्र बने, ये सब चीजें हमारी गौण होकर पीछे चली गई। सिर्फ एक ही चीज रह गई, सफल बनो। और वो फिर बात याद आती है हमारी तारे जमीन पर, जब हम कहते हैं पिक्चर देखी, हाँ जी बड़ी देखी, मैं बड़ी रोई, वहां पिक्चर देखने में है, लेकिन बाद में वहां से आने के बाद फिर वही रटन, फिर वही क्रिकेट का गेम, वही डांस की क्लास, वही ये सब चीजें बताते हैं। तो मुझे समझ नहीं आती कि हम किस दिशा में जा रहे हैं। क्योंकि मैं गांव में पढ़ता था, एक स्कूल नरेले में था, उसका नाम था हेली रिफायाम हाई स्कूल। उसके बाद उसका नाम बदल दिया मुसद्दीलाल स्कूल, और उसके बाद उसी जगह में 3 गवर्नमेंट स्कूल बना दिए, प्राइवेट स्कूलों को मार दिया। और स्कूल में 1955-56 की बात बता रहा हूँ, तो हमें दस्तकारी सिखाई जाती थी। तो उसमें लकड़ी का काम सिखाया जाता था, रंदा चलाना, लकड़ी काटनी, और लोहे का काम, दस्तकारी सिखाई जाती थी, स्काउटिंग सिखाई जाती थी, एनसीसी सिखाई जाती थी, सिखाया जाता था। और उर्दू की किताब थी जिसमें से मास्टर जी गणित के हिसाब के सवाल सिखाते थे, और जिसको नहीं आता था उसको बड़े करते थे, मुर्गा बना देते थे। अब अमेरिका में रिसर्च आई है कि कान खींचो तो शायद दिमाग भी बढ़ता है, और कान ना खींचो तो दिमाग ऐसा रहता है। तब तो बच्चे क्लास में जाते तो उसकी सेल्फ एस्टीम बड़ी डैमेज हो जाती है, तो उसके लिए उसको टीचर को कर दो। तो टीचर की और प्रिंसिपल की सेल्फ एस्टीम की किसी को फिक्र नहीं है। और छठी में अंग्रेजी सीखने के बाद भी जब मैं दिल्ली आया, तो दिल्ली के स्कूल के तुम्हारी यहाँ के बच्चों से बेटर है, जो नर्सरी से सिखाते हैं। ये किस तरह से इसके दिल्ली में कोई ऐसा स्कूल नहीं है जहाँ पे आए, आए और शिक्षा का ज्ञान टीचर्स भी ज्ञानी बने, विद्वान बने, बच्चों तो अपने आप आएगी ही आएगी, इससे कोई बच नहीं सकता। मिट्टी बेचे या हीरे बेचे, वो अपना काम कमाई का कर लेगा, लेकिन उसके अगर चरित्र निर्माण हो जाएगा, देश को प्यार करना आ जाएगा, देश से पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, यहाँ से भाग के जा रहे हैं, कुछ वैसे हैं। तो इन चीजों के ऊपर करके और शिक्षा की नीति परिवर्तन हो के लिए रास्ता, लेकिन बोलना नहीं था, मुझे दिया कि आपको आना ये 2 मिनट, तो मैं चाहूंगा। और उर्दू की भी सुनाई, हिंदी की समझ में आ गई, कुछ थोड़ी अंग्रेजी समझ में आ गई। तो तारीख के पन्नों में ऐसे भी सफे हैं कि गलती लम्हों ने की और सदियों ने सजा पाई। तो ऐसा सदियों सजा पाए, और हमें यही नीति सदस्य जी से भी कह रहा, मैंने एंड टू इट पैमाना है इतनी एजेंसीज हैं, DCPCR है, सेंट्रल बोर्ड है, पुलिस है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, हाई कोर्ट है, डायरेक्टरेट है, CBSE है, लोकल MCD है, काउंसलर्स हैं, सारे हैं और सब स्कूल के पीछे पड़े हुए हैं। सबके सब 10 एजेंसीज मिलके एक बात नहीं सोच पा रही कि बच्चे की सुरक्षा कैसे की जाए, और उसका कोई मॉडल हमारे पास नहीं है कि कोई गवर्नमेंट का एक स्कूल हमें दिखा दे जहाँ पे बच्चा सुरक्षित है। सड़क एक दिखा दे जहाँ पे बच्चा मेन रोड में नहीं गिरेगा, साइकिल चलाओगे उसमें नहीं जाएगी, कार नहीं जाएगी, एक्सीडेंट नहीं होगा, और बच्चे को खरोच लग जाए टीचर को अंदर कर दो। तो ये हमारी जितनी भी और वहां सब IAS बैठे हुए, बड़े विद्वान लोग बैठे हुए जिन्होंने पता नहीं कितनी अच्छी विदेशों की यूनिवर्सिटी से मसूरी में जाके पढ़े होंगे, IAS के ट्रेनिंग कॉलेज है वहां पढ़े, लेकिन CBSE जो कहती है डायरेक्टरेट उससे उल्टा करता है। DCPCR 10 कंडीशन और लगा देती है, और जो MLA पॉलिटिशियन आपके स्कूल में घुस जाए बचना मुश्किल हो जाता है। तो ऐसे में हम लोगों के लिए अभी सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ की बात कर रहे थे, सस्टेनेबल एक्टिव, ये चीजें तो बहुत दूर की बात सोचने की हो गई, चांद सितारे हो गए। जो जमीन की जो हकीकत है उसके बारे में NCERT किताबें लगाओ, तो NCERT किताबें जुलाई अगस्त तक नहीं आती। अब बच्चों को सरकारी स्कूलों में वर्दी मिलेगी, मार्च में जाकर के गर्म स्वेटर मिलेगा उनको। कर लो बात। अभी दो बगैर पैसे के दो, पैसा कहां से लेकर इसका जवाब किसी के पास नहीं है। ये बहुत सारी मुद्दे हैं जिनके बारे में हमें सोचना चाहिए, और स्कूलों को और यूनिवर्सिटी के बीच के अंदर जो पुल है उनको भी बनाना चाहिए। तो विषय तो थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट था, लेकिन ये वोकेशनलाइजेशन और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी अपने आप आ जाएगी। 12वीं कर लो, 12वीं में बच्चा गणित, न्यूमेरिकल स्किल सीख ले और लैंग्वेज स्किल सीख ले, कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग सीख ले, आर्ट, ड्रामा, थिएटर, पेंटिंग सीख ले, म्यूजिक सीख ले, बहुत है। उसके बाद फिर ये जो कॉम्पिटिटिव क्लासेस हो रही है, IIT, ये सब जो है ये बंद होनी चाहिए, और बच्चे का बचपन मिलना चाहिए। बचपन बचाओ आंदोलन वालों को नोबेल प्राइज मिल गया, बच्चों का बचपन बचाओ, इसी बात पे, और हम बच्चों का बचपन छीन करके बुढ़ापा दे रहे हैं। अब आज एक 6-8 साल का बच्चा जो है वो ही इज बिहेविंग लाइक 18 ईयर ओल्ड चाइल्ड। मैंने अपने ग्रैंडसन से पूछा, मैंने कहा भाई जब तू बड़ा हो जाएगा, कार खरीदेगा, मुझे बिठाएगा या नहीं बिठाएगा? सोचूंगा। मैंने कहा सत्यानाश। मैंने कहा सारी हमारी ट्रेनिंग, सारा जैन धर्म, हिंदू धर्म, गायत्री सारे बेकार हो, क्योंकि वोकेशनल सिखा रही है उसकी बात, स्कूल वोकेशनल सिखा रहा है, तो वोकेशनल में एक पैसे का हिसाब करना पड़ता है। इसलिए मित्रों, सब शिक्षा शास्त्री बैठे हुए और सब लोग, मैडम ने इतनी बढ़िया बातें बताई हैं, मुझे बुलाने के लिए धन्यवाद। और मैंने कोई गलत बात कही हो जो मेरे को लगता नहीं, तो सब पैलेटेबल नहीं है मेरी बातें, तो मैं हाथ जोड़ के बड़ी विनम्र भावना से आपसे क्षमा याचना भी करता हूँ। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir, for your pearls of wisdom. I was reading out, most of the countries had fixed one of the eligibility criteria to become a teacher is to be a bachelor's in vocational education. This is becoming a more popular in most of the countries because until unless you don't practice, you can't preach. So let me call my next speaker, who's a practitioner on entrepreneur, Mr. Akash Kandelkar. The stage is over to you.
From this morning, we have been discussing about how our schools are being caged and how they are being started. So a lot of concerns have come up, and by senior educators on the desk in here. But certainly, because systems the national curriculum framework, and a lot has a very important topic on entrepreneurial education, because from where the country has progressed after seeing that IT sector, a few small opportunities came. I came to our old system. Somehow, in the 21st century, we are not able to deliver skills. Because certainly, the cage curriculum where we don't have technology and to innovate and to give us, give back to our children where they can think freely. Because that is what the challenge actually all the way to the and I still feel that entrepreneurial culture, which can is not being done because what I think about it is no professional education that teachers do have the exposure to handle the vocational trades because that is what the challenge is and we are seeing the icon of which they came out by the teachers and educators and they could identify themselves their own self potential. So I think one point being that we have to locate ourselves more liberal and where we think that because in formal system we have to do informal processes because what sir was talking about multiple agencies do thrive upon things that very much. So that is one area because that school has to. And second is yes the ecosystem which is still missing in a lot of CBSE schools across because we don't have the practical orientation because down within time frame and that is the of the school and that is where you see that our children are losing that side of entrepreneurship if they have any ability which they can actually showcase to the third because being this this very because higher education is not linked with school education and higher education because we are a very in compartment we have divided the ministries. There are so many multiple ministries which don't focus on any private unaided schools as well, where higher education institutions can come forward and can deal with the school education systems. I am but no higher education university professors came forward that we can solve the problem together. So connectedness and is missing totally in our society. There is a separate shell and the higher education is a separate shell. From they should come forward and meet all our students because we have been the schools, but each not being able to think about because they are conditioned to think not beyond subjects. Those they're not beyond those. So there is a problem going on, which I think many of the senior principals here and the directors addressed about, but support is not there. So sometimes parents do come forward and sometimes they do not. And so one and third, there can be, because we don't get collaborations. We don't get collaboration because the additional secretary Niti Ayog is not here, but I wanted to recommend that we don't get official collaborations from any of the corporates who can come forward and set up a lab or set up and give a resource persons to us so that the schools can at least create a very innovative idea that can be make it commercially viable and can be patented also because we are losing entrepreneurship at a very faster pace and not able because the system doesn't support and we are making more of employable graduates and that is what the skill they're looking for and vocational education per se because I checked from CBSE also there are hardly any schools in numbers which are following hardly I think 85 schools which are doing it very seriously and religiously. Most of the NCR schools and in metro towns they are not following vocational education because there is no acceptability from the society and from the parents as well. So that is a limitation which this sector is facing. So we are able to and we can do because the change can happen from school system so that entrepreneurs can enter into higher education system with a lot of energy and then they can create an incubation center or incubation center back at school which has a link to the university level. So that is what I think higher education should come forward and and adopt actually, because the neighboring schools and whatever resources you have, because you have better resources which schools don't have, because we are limited with qualifications and we are limited with abilities and we have a lot of resistance. So the framework doesn't allow to promote and encourage entrepreneurship at a faster pace. So that is why we don't see any innovations which are happening, in India at school level. Atal is one initiative, but then still it's being very much, the lab. I've seen schools with a lot of infra, but they don't have resources to support for, because there are no undergrads who are coming forward and talking about the project and taking the school children together. So that is what I feel that entrepreneurship has to be given that space from the adult side of undergrads, researchers, professors, and the lectures also, because there has not been any initiative by the government that okay, you can invite people from the sector who can talk about the social concerns, because we are through CBSE, we don't get change. Still we are running a NCF of an older structure, so we don't have, because now kids are back at home. My child talks about artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is the skills which they have to understand that they cannot run away, because the machine is in their hands, and the artificial intelligence they have to they have to take it and part of their system. So if they are in privately unaided schools, they are a little privileged, but they are thinking on those lines, but the curriculum is not there to support. So still, because Bhattacharya sir is here and he was talking about recommendations, I think the first should be the change in curriculum, because that is not happening at IT sector, and because that is our, if you see the vocational trade, I'll just take a minute, because that is part of the vocational trade of IT, and that has been part of the UNESCO study also, where NIT got the recognition by the study from UNESCO when we thrived upon a commerce graduate being taken by an IT sector and being paid much higher than a graduate engineering graduate. Just because of that one vocational trade, and which we have today a $1 billion industry in this country. So that I think is a very good signal for all of us that vocational trade can get developed, but that went through an informal route and through a lot of the coaching side of it. But now with so many private universities and professional the support from the government, like the Atal Incubation Fund and the Atal Tinkering Labs, we can, I think, take this initiative forward and create a lot of entrepreneurs, because by one of the studies, we hardly have in US I read, and there's a research study where 8% of the undergrad student population is thinking about entrepreneurship within the university system. So that is why they're able to produce, because they have the right ecosystem, and they're producing a lot of entrepreneurial culture, and which we are missing out here. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Akash, for your pitch. All entrepreneurs will know how to make a pitch document. You've done a very good job of pitching the right requirements for taking it forward. I every year travel to most of the schools in the country and do one session which is on transition from school education to higher education. So I happen to travel to length and breadth. Whenever I see the CBSE schools, I see in the curriculum called life skills. So I asked the school by saying that who's teaching that life skills? Surprisingly, there's around 1,000 plus students, 1,500, 1,600 students in a school. Who's teaching the life skills? One poor career counselor.
No.
Sometimes I'm happy to know that there are more no's in it, but I have witnessed most of the time one career counselor is doing life skills. Why I'm coming to this point is when you go further to higher education and to industry and corporates, the life skills are essential part to know yourself, to articulate better, critically evaluate thinking, and rationally come with solutions. So that is the need that you are. So I would like to invite my next speaker on the panel, Dr. Rajesh Hazija, Director, Interprofessional Group of Schools, Dwarka. Please, the stage is over to you.
Very good afternoon, the great educationists, leaders of the education domain. Last session, last speaker, my God, it's a very difficult job. You're looking at me, I'm getting the feeling that you stop it, lunch is ready, aroma is coming up. Give me 5 minutes maximum. I don't have depth and breadth of the speaker, but they spoke about vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial education. So I'll stick specific to the topic. After independence, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Commission was set up. And let me read from the introductory comments of this commission. It says that it is utmost important and urgent to reform education. And how do we reform it? Just transform it. Transform it in such a way that it relates to the life, the needs, and the aspiration of the people. The introductory paragraph adds 3 more things into it. It says that the purpose of education must be developed. It must be developed to number 1, productivity, which is vocational. To increase productivity, to accelerate the process of modernization, that is a professional education, and to achieve social integration, which any other guys do it. Let me tell you, the process of vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial is part of education. This will not come on its own. However, in 2016, the National Education Policy says, and I am saying in quote, it is not exaggeration to admit that we have not achieved the purpose of education even after 7 decades of independence. Have we really failed? We are discussing today after 7 decades of education, that means we have not achieved to that. But yes, we have achieved. Anyone? Latest is the Rishabh Agarwal from Odisha, who was traveling to travel from one place to achieve hotels. Almost $3 billion turnout. Make my trip, Flipkart, there are dozens to talk about. Have we failed in achieving vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial education? Probably not to that extent the way our count of heads go on. When we say education is a vehicle for the economic, social, environmental, and now 2016 policy say even political development, we must look into the ingredients. I personally feel school education should be reformed in terms of transaction. I'm not talking about curriculum change. I'm talking in terms of transaction. Whatever we need to teach, let's work out. There is a creativity domain, there is an innovative domain. Unless we will develop creativity and innovation while teaching English, math, science, social study, you take any part of this one. We lay focus on covering the syllabi. Let's uncover the syllabi, rather discover the syllabi with the children. I assure you, these 2 angles, these 2 domains would be for the learner. I personally feel it has to be a very rich partnership between the school and the higher education. Get to SRM, it has taken an initiative, collected so many principal and educationists together for this initiative. 14 years, I have a hand holding of a child who joins my school at the age of 3. 17 plus when I am forwarding, sending him to the hard institute, probably I have not been able to share the traits, the qualities which have been nurtured, developed, strengthened in a school environment. If we have a partnership between the higher education, or university would understand why the demand as a teacher are taken care, also be able to share lot much more about the mindset of children. We can integrate curriculum which further enlighten them into the areas of vocational, professional, and the entrepreneur. If our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is talking about Skill India, vocational, Digital India, professional, and Make it India, the entrepreneur, he's actually very right, because this is losing education. So first I said, let's have a university. Third, which we have started with the school only recently. Then we have from class 10 onwards an exposure, an internship program. My children could go to any university, get exposure of different educational environment available, and that, yes, this is also possible. In 11th, 12th, could have this internship program with the university, so they spend time with the industry, they spend time so that they know these are the essential skills which are required. If we can do that one, probably will do justice to the educational domain which we are looking at. Once again, I say it is very, very essential to integrate the vocational, professional, and entrepreneurial part of school curriculum. Permit me to differ with the very, very eminent education, Mr. S.L. Jain. It will not come on its own. We need to nurture this at the school level. And yes, lady talking about the poetry. So about the poems, she said, "Rahe nahi chalti, khud chalte hain." And I was thinking, when I go at the airport, the accelerator on the ground goes. तो मुझे लगा राहें तो चलती हैं, राहें घर साफ चले, राहें घर साफ चले. Let me just read eyes. राहें घर साफ चले तो यादों में एक नई जान आ जाती है. राहें घर साफ चले तो यादों में एक नई जान आ जाती है. सपने घर साथ बुने. I'm talking about school and university. SRM is here. सपने साथ बुने तो मंजिलों की एक नई पहचान आ जाती है. कौन कहता है जलता है सिर्फ सूरज जलने के लिए. जी सर, सूरज जलता है. कौन कहता है जलता है सिर्फ सूरज जलने के लिए. जला के देखे हम अपने आप को इस शिक्षा के हवन में. जला के देखे हम अपने आप को इस शिक्षा के हवन में. करोड़ों चाहतों में एक नई रुझान आ जाती है. Thanks, Dr. Rajesh Katrija, for amazing thoughts, and to take right from Radhakrishnan Commission, which is also famously known as University Education Commission. If anyone has time, just read out. It has an amazing analysis of Indian higher education, how to revamp after colonialization. So it's an amazing piece of research and report which is available online. Thanks for sharing all those impactful insight on this. Now I will have a quick rapid fire question to all our panelists. One key way to promote vocational education, skill education in school level. One recommendation of yours, very quickly. I'll start from sir.
I think the teachers should be trained for that. teachers should be trained and the attitude and commitment towards this should be encouraged.
Dr. Rajesh.
4 years back, British Council introduced a concept, teach man a fish. They asked school to take up a project. Let this project be commercially viable. And what she said, whatever excess money is generated through that, let that money be a part of CSR of the school. It takes care of skill development. It takes care of vocational. It takes care of professionalism. It takes care of entrepreneurship. It also sensitizes every child to be caring for less fortunate people. Such kind of the project, whether it's a British Council, whether it's the SRM, or any such organization, must develop at the school level to inculcate this. Thank you.
Most importantly, have a vision. The way you design a vision for your school, and that vision helps you to put your school together, give an identity to its culture. The same way, have a very clear understanding of what is the mission you want your school to accomplish. And then see that all the disparate elements come together as a cohesive whole consistently, and you are critically evaluating and growing as per requirement. So a clear vision is very, very important according to me.
I think if we are talking about school, the infrastructure has to be relooked, and we can create a lot of thinking spaces, and we can have a lot of labs, because still we should believe that learning to do can bring a lot of skills in them, and through out of bound and they are not with the instructional based approach, that they can come together and they can collaborate. So students can collaborate and come up with a lot of innovation, and that can be the initiative which through vocational push can be given at a very primary level, and all schools can do at no cost. It's just the way we think and the approach towards the vocational education.
The second rapid fire question. Your key recommendation to develop students future ready. I'll start with you. Let me reiterate. Your key recommendation, one recommendation to develop students for future ready.
I think from the school point of view, we can do social entrepreneurship, because that is where the right skills can get developed, because they have to learn about emotional, cultural, social skills first to be an individual who can handle the society and create an enterprise, because that is the basic skill and the primary skill one should be, because the future is anyway not predictable, because we don't know tomorrow, because every moment there's a research happening, and if you Google it out by the evening, there's some research which has come out with some new inputs. So that has to be prepared, because it's totally because they have to be given a fuzzy vision. The child that the future will be bright, but they have to be prepared with all set of environments. So those basic skills and ingredients which is required for the child, that has to be given.
Have more conversations. All stakeholders come together more often, listen to each other, and share your views. That way, everybody's knowledge grows, everybody's mindset opens up and grows in commonly agreed directions, and the child gets the support of a home, the school, and the management together. And then there is a kind of positive direction to the manner in which you are growing and involving the entire school system. And you have a culture that supports you every day in what you think, what you aspire, and what you do. So talk more, talk more.
Dr. Rajesh.
Not only a child, even an adult, anybody must imbibe three qualities. Number one, learning to learn throughout the life. Learning to learn. Number two, ready to take any initiative required. And number three, never have any fear of failure. You'll be future.
I think involving the parents and the parenting techniques, if the parents learn them and spend quality time with the parents, the child will be future ready and in a more effective and better way and contributory way.
I know that all good things comes to an end, and I had a sheer pleasure and honor to moderate this panel. They're actually the change makers, right from their years of experience, the way they run the schools, effectively manage the schools, and practice entrepreneurship as well. So we have a very mixed panel, and I was so excited and so happy to moderate this session. And after this, once the felicitation is over, I want to hand over the mic to Shankar Goenka for a minute to share his insight as well. And thank you for being a patient listener. I was afraid before I start the session. It's a session before your lunch and you. How can you stay it away? But I'm so happy for being a patient listener. Excellent audience. Thanks for that.
I'm just supposed to speak for a minute. So, what I want to tell you, friends, कि हमारे देश में जो entrepreneur है, वो entrepreneurship बढ़ाता नहीं है, और जो entrepreneurship बढ़ाता है, वो entrepreneur है. Can you imagine so much of mismatch in our country? So, and can you please help me to understand कि entrepreneurship शब्द आया कहाँ से? It's a German word. Yes, please.
French.
French. Yes. चिंता मत करिए, ठीक तो मैं कर ही दूंगा. So, actually, जो entrepreneurship शब्द है, ये संस्कृत का शब्द है अंतः प्रेरणा. Inner voice अच्छी होगी तब बात होगी. So, मैं जनरली कहता हूँ कि रूट अच्छा होगा, फ्रूट तभी अच्छा होगा. Why I came into this stage only for a minute, just to inform you that we have an incubation center at Okhla. If any of the school really want to give exposure to your children, please come to us in a batch of 60 students. There is no cost to you. School को बड़े पैसे की चिंता होती है. खाली आप अपने बच्चों को बस के साथ भेजिए. There is a whole one-day program और जहाँ पे 60 छोटी-छोटी machines लगी हुई है और जहाँ पर आपके बच्चे आकर स्कूल के उस इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर पे उन मशीन्स के ऊपर काम करेंगे. कैंडल कैसे बनती है, टिश्यू पेपर कैसे बनता है, सोप कैसे बनती है, सॉक्स कैसे बनती है, सोया मिल्क कैसे बनता है, टोमेटो केचप कैसे बनता है, उसकी पैकेजिंग कैसी होती है, हल्दी पाउडर कैसे बनता है. तो जब ये बच्चे ये जान पाएंगे कि इंडस्ट्री लगाने के लिए कोई 150 करोड़ रुपए लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. जस्ट फ्रॉम 50,000 रुपीज टू 20 लाख रुपीज का इन्वेस्टमेंट के ऊपर चिल्ड्रन कैन अर्न फ्रॉम 1,000 रुपीज अ डे टू 10,000 रुपीज अ डे. और मजे की बात है कि जो लड़कियां हैं उनके लिए there is a provision in the government. If they have an idea, they will get 1 crore rupee loan without any collateral, without any security. From बच्चों के लिए there is so much to do. My only humble request to all the principals and the great audience over here, please take the initiative. सब कुछ आज के तारीख में अवेलेबल है. नीति आयोग इतना काम कर रहा है, इंडस्ट्री इतना काम कर रही है, पर मुझे लगता है कि there is no connect between them. If any one of you find any challenge, please speak to me. मेरा नंबर बहुत आसान है. My email ID is very simple. SG S for Shankar, G for Goenka @shankargoenka.com. बाकी मैं कहीं मिलूं न मिलूं, गूगल गुरु जिंदाबाद. उसके ऊपर आप you want to have exposure to your children, and I promise you, जब ये बच्चे उस हमारे एक दिन के प्रोग्राम के बाद आपके स्कूल वापस आएंगे, अगले दिन उनकी एनर्जी डिफरेंट होगी, उनकी लीडरशिप डिफरेंट होगी, उनका अपना आत्मविश्वास डिफरेंट होगा, and they will know what exactly entrepreneurship is all about. Thank you very much. No. It is at Okhla. There is a metro station also in Okhla. It is near.
और ये तो बहुत कमाल कर दिया ये वाली अगले समय ना
मैंने पूरा
मुझे पूरा बता दिया आपने कर लेगा मैं अच्छा रिलेशन बहुत Very good. Sayaji, very well done. Excellent. ये कमाल है। चलेगा पर आपको मालूम आपकी पता नहीं चलेगी। तारीफ करते हो, चला ही सुनने वाला क्या कहते हो? तुम्हारे वाले ये बात नहीं सुना। समाज